Did you know that when you don't set goals, you can't reach your full potential? And people who don't write down goals are less likely to accomplish them. In this episode, Khalia Luff, owner of Sankofa Properties LLC, will show you how to establish your core values, how to create a mission statement, and how to set daily, weekly, and quarterly milestones to achieve your goals. Don't forget to like and subscribe so we can continue to bring you professionals with awesome information to help you with your multifamily investing career. Enjoy the show. One way that we provide value is by bringing special guests like the one that we have here tonight, Khalia Luff. Khalia is the owner of Sankofa Properties LLC, Sankofa Cleanouts and Junk Removal, Sankofa Signings, Real Estate Notary Services, and the list goes on. This professional knows how to set goals and achieve them. She's here to share this information with us tonight. Khalia, thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Great. So Khalia, right before I allow you to run with this, let me just say a few words. About a few weeks ago, I spent 5 hours, myself and other professionals spent 5 hours with this subject matter expert. And we knew that with that information, we had to have her here to be a part of this, because as I mentioned earlier, you want to hit the ground running for 2023 in order for you to achieve all the goals that you set forth. That's all I have to say about that. Khalia, take it away.
So my name is Khalia Luff. I like to call myself a serial entrepreneur because I have gone through about at least 6 businesses in the past 10 years or so, while currently owning and operating 4. I got started 10 years ago as an entrepreneur while I was in college. I was also a very young mom. I was inspired to become an entrepreneur simply because of the freedom, the opportunity, the amount of money we were able to make. And then also it fit my lifestyle. I was able to make money right from my home with my daughter. So I didn't necessarily have to leave my house or leave my daughter to be able to make money. So that was the most enticing part of becoming an entrepreneur, as well as the wealth building and being able to pass down something to her. I had my daughter when I was just 16 years old, and I started my first business when I was about 21 years old. So I think she was like 6 at the time. I was attending college. At the time, I went to community college, and then I went to Temple University, where I graduated with a bachelor's in Africology with a minor in sociology. And from community college, I got an associate's in social behavior with concentrations in psychology and sociology. So my first business was, I had a virgin hair business, and then that actually turned into a physical hair salon where we not only sold the hair, but we did the hair. And then that quickly turned into an online clothing store, which I had for 2 years while I finished college. And then upon graduating college, I got into real estate. I was actually a school teacher for a short while. And then I got back into entrepreneurship. I quit my job. I quit grad school. I was actually attending University of Pennsylvania to get a master's in urban education. I dropped out of UPenn and I went back to building a business, and that's what I've been doing for the last 6 years. So for the last 6 years, I've been a real estate investor, I've been a wholesaler, and from there, I started a junk removal company in 2019, and then a mobile notary company in 2020. I also have a car rental business, and we rent out cars on Turo as well. Okay, so I usually like to do a quick segue. Again, we don't have too much time, but I would like for people to take a second, and I want you to reflect on your 3 greatest personal and business accomplishments in the last year. So for 2022, what were your 3 greatest personal and business accomplishments for the year? This is not something that you need to necessarily share. This is something that you need to note for yourself. After you write out the 3 greatest personal business accomplishments in the last year, we want to talk about, or you want to write down what is working and what is not working in your life. So all of these things are going to be introductions, and it's really going to be up to you to kind of take this information and work on it later, because you simply won't have enough time to get into it now. But this is a good exercise. You want to note what is working in your life and what is not working in your life. And then the things that are not working in your life, you're going to add them to what we call an issues list. Towards the end, I will get into what is the issues list and what you're supposed to do with it. Once you write out what is working and what's not working in your life, we just want to take a second to think about what are your expectations for this planning session. So what are you hoping to get out of this session? You want to reflect when you do have this meeting with yourself, you're going to reflect on your 3 greatest personal and business accomplishments in a previous year. You're going to note 2 separate lists, what is working, what is not working. Whatever is not working, you're going to transfer that over to what's called an issues list. Now let's jump into your core values. So I like for people to start with establishing your core values. So whether this is planning for your life or planning for your business, your core values are a small set of vital and timeless guiding principles for your company or for your life. And these core values define your culture, who you truly are, and who you truly are as a person. When they are clear, you'll find that they attract like-minded people to your organization or to your life, and they will weed out the people that don't fit. Once they're defined, you must hire, fire, review, reward, and recognize people based on these core values. This is how you build a thriving culture around them. So we're going to do a quick exercise to help establish your core values. So what you're going to do is you are going to think about who are 3 people where if you could clone them, they would lead you to market domination. So for example, if you are a real estate investor, just for example, you may say someone like, if you could clone Robert Kiyosaki, you know, he could help you lead to market domination. So that's for example. So you would want to think of 3 people who you could clone that would lead you to market domination. This is a quick exercise that I do want to take 5 minutes and have people do this now.
So, audience, once you have your 3 people in mind, can you put done in the chat, please? Write done in the chat. That way we know that you're doing this. And it's very crucial that you guys play this all out. You play all out with this, because this is setting you up, like I said, for success. And Khalia herself, her and her team has done extraordinary things by playing all out with this.
What I want you to do with these 3 people is you want to write down what are the characteristics that got these people to this list. So for example, if Robert Kiyosaki made it to your list, what are some of his characteristics? Like, why did you choose him? I would choose him because he's, you know, financially literate, right? He already has a lot of assets. He has a lot of real estate information. He has access to a lot of capital. He seems really focused, different things that made you put that person on your list. And you really want to pull out the characteristics, though, that will lead you to domination. So maybe he's organized, maybe he's well capitalized, maybe he has a lot of leads, something like that, whatever those characteristics are. So you want to do that for each of the people that you pulled out. So take like another 1.5 minutes or so and just list out those characteristics.
And again, please place done when you're completed.
Once everyone is done that portion and you've kind of listed those characteristics, what you should see is that some of those characteristics should overlap. Some of those characteristics should overlap. So what you want to do is you want to cross out the characteristics that are not that important to you, right? You want to circle the ones that are very important for you, and you want to combine the ones that are similar. So cross out the ones that are not important to you, circle the ones that are important to you, and then combine the ones that are similar. So just for example, I may have said Robert Kiyosaki, and I may have also said Oprah, right? For Oprah, I may have said, well, Oprah is also well capitalized. Oprah is also very successful. She's financially literate, whatever the case may be, but you can see that there may be some overlap between the characteristics that she has and the characteristics that Robert Kiyosaki has. So you want to combine the ones that you are finding are similar. Once you kind of got that going, what you're going to do, what you should be left with is, or I'm sorry, we want to narrow that list down to 3 to 7. So with all the combining, we call kill it, which is cross it out, combine it, or keep it, kill it, combine it. With all of that, you want to narrow that down to 3 to 7 characteristics. Once you get those 3 to 7 characteristics, those are your core values. So if, for example, financially literate was a characteristic that came up that you decided to keep, one of your core values is, I am financially literate, or we are financially literate, something like that. That would be one of your core values, and it should be 3 to 7 of those. And I'm actually going to give you guys some examples. So for example, Chick-fil-A's core values. We're here to serve. We're better together. We are purpose-driven, and we pursue what's next. These are Chick-fil-A's core values. And then we have Sweet Green, which is a cool salad spot. You guys should try it. Their core values is they create win-win solutions. They think sustainably. They create meaningful connections. They make an impact, and they keep it real. So these are core values that when it comes to hiring employees, when it comes to even dealing with customers, right? As a business owner, you have control over who you want to hire as a client, right? So you can even measure up your customers, your clients, your employees, anyone that comes into your life or on board up against these values. And if they don't fit into these values, then more than likely they won't fit into your organization or into your life. So for example, just for my specific company, one of our core values is that we always have integrity, right? And so if we are going to go hire someone, or if we're going to onboard a client, or we're going to work with a vendor, anything like that, if they don't have integrity, it doesn't matter how much skill they have, it doesn't matter how talented they are, how much experience they have, somewhere down the line, we're probably going to clash because there's a value, our values are not aligned. So this is really, really foundational for your business and for your life to figure out who you're supposed to attract into your life and into your business. So that is your core values, and that's how you come up with your core values. Once you establish your core values, right, your guiding principles, how you're going to behave, how everyone on your team or in your life is going to behave, you want to establish your core focus. Another word for core focus is your mission statement, your vision statement, or your core business. What that means is your mission statement is a concise explanation of your organization's reason for existence. It describes the organization's purpose and its overall intention. The mission statement supports the vision and serves to communicate purpose and direction to employees, customers, vendors, and other stakeholders. Your job as a leadership team is to establish your organization's core focus and not let anything distract you from that. You need to decide what business you are in and be in that business. That is what your core focus is. So the first question to help you establish what your core focus is why does your organization exist? What is your reason for being? That's your purpose, your passion, your cause. That aspect of it should not be about money and should be bigger than a goal. right? That part of it you should also be able to take that into any organization. So for example, for our company, for Sankofa Properties, our organization exists to enrich the quality of life in our communities. That's the first half of our core focus. If you notice, I can take that and apply that to any industry. It doesn't sound real estate specific. Enriching the quality of life of our communities can be through any channels, but that's our core focus. The second part of that is your niche, and that's coupled together. Our niche is solving complex real estate problems. So if we put that together, our mission or our core focus is to enrich the quality of life in our communities by solving complex real estate problems. The next part, your niche should be industry specific. So if our niche is solving complex real estate problems, it's very clear what we do, right? We're in the real estate industry, we solve complex real estate problems. That first part of it, enriching the quality of life in our communities, we can take that into any of our businesses. So we don't have that first part, but that we can take that into any of our businesses. So let me give you some examples. So for example, using the same two companies, Chick-fil-A and Sweetgreen, they actually have it broken down the same way. So Chick-fil-A's core focus is to glorify God. This is right from their website, right? So their core focus is to glorify God, right? So notice how that has nothing to do with food. That has nothing to do with what business they're in. That has nothing to do with a specific industry. They can glorify God through a church. They can glorify God through, a mission, through feeding homelessness, through many different ways that can be transferred into any industry, right? But specifically with Chick-fil-A, how do they glorify God? By being a faithful by being a faithful steward of all that is entrusted to them, and to have a positive influence on all who come into contact with Chick-fil-A. That is specific to what exactly they do. They are a faithful steward of all that is entrusted to them, and they have a positive influence on all who come into Chick-fil-A. So everyone knows the Chick-fil-A customer experience. When you come in there, they do all but, wipe your butt for you, right? Chick-fil-A, they have excellent customer service, and it's because their core focus is to have a positive influence on all who comes into Chick-fil-A, right? Same thing for Sweetgreen. Their core focus their purpose is to build healthier communities. You can do that a million different ways. It's not industry specific, but how do they build healthier communities? By connecting people to real food. Very specific to what it is that they do, which is they're a solid place. So this is how you come up with your core focus to identify what your purpose is and what your niche is. Very, very important to define what business you're in and be in that business. So once you have those two established, now we can really get into the nitty-gritty of establishing your vision and really getting down to goal setting. Once you know who you are, what your core values are, what your guiding principles are, and what business you're in. Once you understand that, now we can jump into, your vision tracker. So your vision is clearly defining who and what your organization is, where it's going, and how it's going to get there. This is essentially your plan. This is your business plan almost. So the first thing you want to do is establish your 10-year vision. So when I say 10 years, it was really hard for us to do this the first time we did it because we were like maybe 25 years old, fresh out of college. I really couldn't even imagine my life in 10 years. But this is where I encourage people to dream and to dream big. So I call it your 10-year plus. So it doesn't exactly have to be 10 years. It can be long-term. This is just essentially your dream life. Like when it's all said and done, where do you hope to be at in life? What does that look like? I want everyone to take the time. We're going to take like 5 minutes on each section here. If we have time, maybe like 3 minutes on each section here. And I do want people to start to write that, right? Where do you want your life to be in 10 years plus? What does that look like? Be very descriptive. So for example, I would like to live in a condo somewhere, newly built, floor to ceiling windows, pool, balcony. Like I'm very, like when I'm writing this out, I'm very specific as to, you know, I want marble floors, I want gold, this and that. Like I'm very, very, very descriptive about exactly what it is that I want. Even if you believe that you can't ever get it, even if you believe that it's not possible, if you have no idea how you're going to get there, this is still where you have the space to dream. And if it feels scary or you have those doubts, that's actually a good sign because it means that you're dreaming big. And this is what I want you to do here. So this is establishing your dream life, or really your, you know, your dream business. So for your business, where do you see your business at in 10 plus years? If you had everything going the way you could in your business, what does that look like? Paragraph form, be very descriptive. How much money do you want to make? Right? Where do you want your credit score to be? What do you want your relationships to look like? How much, you know, revenue do you want your business to generate? How many customers do you want to have? How many lives do you want to touch? Be very, very specific. So take about a couple of minutes and just kind of dream for a second.
Khalia, while everybody's writing, we had a question come in. Would a vision boards be sufficient, or would it have to be in writing when we're doing the vision tracker?
So actually, we actually do this alongside of a vision board. So I think that it's a great idea for you to establish your vision in words first. For one, words are very powerful, right? Writing things out gives you clarity. It allows you to go back to it. I say write it out in paragraph form. And then actually what we did for the first workshop was after you establish your 10-year vision in writing, that is actually how you create your dream life vision board from what you wrote in your 10-year vision. So to answer your question, this goes alongside. So I would encourage you to do a vision board for your 10-year vision and a vision board for your 1-year plan once we get there. But your vision board should, you know, coincide with what you wrote out. I think that the good thing about writing it out is that it gives you the opportunity to dream, while the vision board, you're kind of just like looking for pictures, as opposed to having everything written out. And now you're looking for pictures that match the vision that you already wrote out. It's actually a lot easier to create a vision board once you already have everything written out. That's just my 2 cents. If it works better for you that way, that's fine. But I would recommend writing it out.
That was a great question, Peter. Yeah, thanks for asking that question.
Don't forget, everyone, please put done in the chat so that way we know that you have completed this step, and then we can move on to the next.
So I see another question. Is it possible for your vision board to change throughout the years? Yes. So I do this meeting every year, right? And so every year, my 10-year vision may change. I may go through a whole year and like, you know, a lot can happen in a year, and I may update my vision, right? And so typically my long-term vision board has stayed the same because I typically already have dreamed large enough. But the yearly one definitely changes. So I usually do one long-term one, and then every single year I do a new vision board every year to match my yearly goals. Once you have established your 10-year vision, what you're going to ask yourself, and this is also going to be in written form, you're going to ask yourself, what do you need to do in the next 3 to 5 years to achieve your 10-year vision? So for example, if in 10 years, you know, I want to live in a brand new, newly constructed like condo in Center City or whatever it is, right? I may say like in the next 3 to 5 years, you know, I need to get my credit to a certain point, or I need to save X amount of dollars, right? I need to have X amount of cash flow coming in to support this. Whatever that is, you want to think about what are the things that you need to do in the next 3 to 5 years to achieve what you want to do in 10 years? And you can write that out in like bullet lists, but you still want to be very detailed as to what that looks like, how much money you want to make, what's your credit score. You still want to be as detailed. And then, of course, write done when you're finished. Then guys, we're going to do the same thing for your 1-year plan, right? So after you wrote out what you need to do in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to do the exact same thing, and you're going to write out, what do you need to do in the next year? In 2023, what do you need to do to achieve your 3 to 5 year picture? And this is just a brain dump. So you want to write out every single thing that you think that you need to do in the next year to achieve your 3 to 5 year vision. And then write down when you're finished. And again, guys, don't be discouraged. This usually takes us like a week. And this is like just a snapshot of what we normally do, but it usually takes a long time, hours to be able to flush this stuff out. So don't feel bad if if you don't have it all right now. This is a guideline for you to go back and work on it. This is just kind of like a quick exercise.
So everyone, I'll just interject real quick. I spent about 5 hours with Khalia doing this, and even at that wasn't enough time for me to fully do it. So even now, I am still having to go back and readjust, add things to my goals. I totally second what she's saying. Don't be discouraged, and continue to work on this.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure she will tell you that as well. But yeah, and again, I just want to say thank all of you guys for playing all out, because this is going to definitely help you achieve what you're here to really do.
Appreciate that. Okay. So once you guys have that, right? So we're not done with the 1 year, right? So once you figured out what all you need to do in the next year, what we need to do now is narrow that down to 3 to 7. So you don't want to bite off more than you can chew. It may seem like, oh yeah, I can get it all done, but trust me, once you get into the nitty-gritty, like it's a lot. So when we narrow that down to 3 to 7, what you want to do is that same exercise. We want to keep it, kill it, combine it. So you want to circle all of the things that you really, really need to do. Put a strike through the things that are not that important, and combine the ones that are similar. You want to repeat that process until you get it down to 3 to 7. So again, cross out the ones that are not that important, circle the ones that are very important, combine the ones that are similar. So if you've gotten it down to 3 to 7, then these are your goals for the year. So we know that, you guys are going to take this home, you're going to work on it a little bit more and all of that. But once you finalize it, once you nail down your 3 to 7 for the year, that's it. So definitely spend some time, because once you decide that these is what you're going to go for, you don't necessarily want to get distracted. That's why it's so important to lay out your foundation, to lay out your core values, your focus of your business, your vision. Is super important to lay out where you're going, because once we get to this point, we don't want to change this for another year. You want to be sure about what you're doing for the next year. That's not to say that life won't happen and other opportunities won't come up, but you don't want to, you just don't want to get the shiny object syndrome, right? You want to be clear about where you're going, how you're going to get there, and you're clear that these are the 3 to 7 things that you're going to do for this year. Once you establish that, now we need to break that down for the next 90 days. It's not enough to just say, okay, all right, these are my goals for the year, and just go off and just do them. Motivation doesn't necessarily work like that. Even feeling accomplished doesn't necessarily work like that. You want to definitely break that down into smaller bites. So what we want to do now is same routine. What do you need to do in the next 90 days from the 3 to 7 things that you just established, your goals for the year? What do you need to do in the next 90 days to achieve that? You want to write that down. What do you need to do in the next 90 days the first quarter of the year, to achieve your goals for the year. And just in case, if you guys haven't noticed the pattern already, we're gonna brain dump what you need to do in the next 90 days. And then we're gonna go through the keep it, kill it, combine it, and narrow that down to the 3 to 7 things that you need to do for the next 90 days. So for example, if next year, if I say that one of my goals is to make 100,000, then I might say that in the next 90 days, I need to make 25,000. Once you've established what you need to do in the next 90 days, right, you're going to go through the same process. You want to put a circle around the ones that are really important, put a strike through the ones that are not, and combine the ones that are similar. Do this until you get to 3 to 7. By the way, guys, if you guys have teams, right? So let's say in our real estate business, you know, we have the executive team, which are the owners, but we also have like an acquisition person. We also have a sales team. You may have a marketing team. You may have your operations team. You actually want to, after you've established your vision and everything, when it comes down to creating your goals and your quarterly goals, you're actually going to do this with each department in your business as well. And you're going to work with your team members to also come up with goals for their particular department. So for example, if we were doing this with our sales team, we would work with our sales teams to come up with sales goals specifically.
I have a question, Khalia. So if I have my first quarter goals for 2023, when should I start to look at the second quarter goals, start to establish those goals?
So we actually do these meetings on an annual basis, quarterly basis, and weekly basis. So after we finish our annual goal, we actually meet weekly to do a check-in. And that's, again, a whole nother, you know, section where I can go into how to lay out your meetings, how to make sure you're on point. What are you meeting about? Tapping into your goals. Like, we have a very quick process of how we check in and run through our meetings, but we would do that on a weekly basis. So every week, so let's say you have your quarterly goals. Every week during this meeting, what we call the rock review, you're going to check in, and it's when you go over your goals, you're going to say on track or off, right? So if one of my goals for the quarter is to earn 25K, let's say whatever, that 4th week, we're checking in and they say earn 25K, on track or off. If it's on track, it's on track. We keep rolling. If it's off track, we put it on the issues list. The issues list is where we go in and we discuss all of our issues, and we come up with solutions, and we come up with to-dos to get those things back on track. Or just, you know, it's a myriad of things that goes onto the issues list. Again, that's kind of like a whole nother section. But to answer your question, we check in weekly, and then at the end of the 90 days, we have a quarterly meeting.
Okay.
The quarterly meeting is similar to this. We're reviewing everything for the quarter. We're reviewing our numbers. We're reviewing our KPIs, and we're reviewing our goals. Anything that was not accomplished in this 90 days, again, it's a whole nother little exercise that we do to determine whether that goal even needs, whether we still need to keep that goal. If so, we decide if it needs to roll over to the second quarter, if it needs to get reassigned to someone else who's better equipped to carry out that goal. There's a whole process that we do, but we do it on a quarterly basis. And then at that quarterly meeting is where you're coming up with your next 90-day goals. So we do it in 90-day chunks.
Great, thanks.
Yep. I see a lot of people said that they are done with their quarterly goals. So once you nail that down to 3 to 7, we're not done yet. Now you take those goals and you write down your mini steps. So for example, if one of my quarterly milestones is to earn 25,000, the mini steps may be, you know, I have to perform X amount of notaries. I have to close X amount of real estate deals. I have to, whatever, rent out my cars for X amount. I have to do X amount of junk removal jobs. Whatever it is, I'm writing down what are all of the things that I need to do to earn 25,000. And I write out all of those mini steps. You're going to do that for each goal. Write out all of the mini steps that you need to do. And then guess what, guys? That is going to create your daily routine. That is how you're going to know what you need to do each and every day to achieve your goals. So if I know I need to perform, you know, whatever it is, let's call it, if I can do 5 a week, whatever, 5 to 10 a week, 12 weeks, that's 120. Let's say if I wanted to earn 25,000, one of the things that I needed to do, let's say I said I needed to perform 120 notarizations to help meet that goal, right? That's 120, that's broken down for each month. I would know like every single week what I need to do, or every single day. If I break that down, I know I need to do like 2 notaries a day to be able to meet my goal. That's how I know what I need to do every single day to achieve my goals. So now we're writing out our mini steps. What's all of those little things that you need to do? Again, for the sake of the exercise, you may not be able to do it all right now. You know, maybe choose 1 to 3 of your goals right now and kind of write out what those mini steps are. And then let me know when you're done. Your mini steps don't have, we don't have to narrow that down to 3 to 7. These are just all of the steps that are necessary. So like if I want to get a property under contract, I may need to, you know, make X amount of phone calls and go on X amount of appointments and make X amount of offers. There's no limit to what it is that you need to do to actually get those goals done. You just want to detail exactly what those things are. Once you have your mini steps, again, guys, here's all of what you need to do for the next quarter. There should be no guessing. Here's every single step that you need to do. From there, you can break that down into weekly goals. So it does get a little bit more intricate in terms of like, okay, if I have 7 goals for the quarter, how do I know which ones to do in January, which ones to do in March? Something like that. From once you detail out all of the steps that you need to do, from there, you're going to create weekly goals from that. So again, for example, if I want to earn 25,000, one step that I need to do to do that is to perform 120 notarizations. What that turns into is a goal of 10 notary appointments a week, right? I just break that down over the quarter and I say now my weekly goal is to perform 10 notarizations for the week, right? And I do that with each goal. And then that's how I kind of get my weekly goals, right? And then I carry that into the day. So if my goal for the week is to get 10, then my goal for every day is to do 2. And I just write out what are my top 3 to-dos for the day. Guys, if you dreamed really big and you're working your way back, you should have some very large, audacious goals. It's a lot to accomplish. And so you want to be gracious with yourself and really just give yourself, you know, what are some 3 main goals for the week, 3 main goals for the day, and really try to prioritize it. What are the most important things that I need to do? As long as you're always working on that, you really are on the right track. If you can knock out your 3 most important things a day, you're on the right track. I see a question here. Yes, so he says for more detailed actions, would it also be more beneficial to allocate number of hours, person, and resources to achieve these tasks? Yes, you can get as detailed as your brain functions, right? Not everybody is as detailed as that. If that works for you, or if you have that in mind, then yes, you can absolutely allocate the number of hours that you need to. If there's tasks that need to be delegated, again, that's a whole nother process of how I go through. And once I have all of my tasks in front of me, I actually do go through and say, okay, what absolutely requires me and what doesn't? The things that absolutely don't require me, who can I delegate that to? Is it an assistant? Is it one of my partners? Is it a vendor? Is it someone else? That way you're focused on the things that you need to do, that require you rather. But that was a good question. And that's pretty much it, guys. Once you have your mini steps, again, you have your action plan for the quarter. And it's kind of up to you to just break that down for what you need to do on a weekly basis. And then you break that down for what you need to do on a daily basis. Keep it simple, 3 to 7. Everything is 3 to 7. Everything is 3 to 7. Homework for you guys. I would like you guys to think about what were your goals for this year, right? What percentage of it was complete? and sit with that percentage, right? Was it 50%, 60, 80? What was that number, right? And then your goals that were not met, you want to also add those to the issues list. So I'm sorry, this is actually supposed to be done before we go into everything. But like I said, I wanted to assign it as homework, but that's actually a good exercise to do, because when you're coming up with your yearly goals, maybe some of those goals from this year can get rolled over. So you would go through those percentage of the specific goals that you did not accomplish for this year. You want to do the same keep it, kill it, combine it exercise. So as you're going into your 2023 goals, are these goals that you can keep? Can you combine it with something that you came up with, or do you just need to kill it and cross it off? You also want to review all of your numbers for the year. So again, like I said, this is a huge meeting that we have, usually takes us like a week. Important KPIs that you need to track is your income, your profit margins, and then depending on what industry you're in, this is apartment investing. So you want to track things like your cash flow. How many contracts do you have? How many closings? The number of units that you're acquiring, your offers, different things like that.
All right, thank you very much. Dan, we will now head into our question and answers. Were there any questions that were sent directly to you?
I personally do have one. Khalia, so when it comes to, you use the example of 10 notarizations, you know, as far as an example, hitting that weekly goal. Like, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay consistent on to the next week? Let's say you got 7 that week, or let's say it's just a really bad week because life is just in the way and you hit 0. Like, how do you keep motivated to continue on? Like, hey, all right, next week I got to hit 10, or maybe I need to increase that number to make sure I hit my quarterly goal.
That's a good question. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years now, so like staying motivated is like just a part of it. I gotta eat, my kid gotta eat, like, you know what I mean? I have to, like, it just has to be done. So that's how I stay motivated. I have accountability partners. It's easier, a little bit easier. I have 2 business partners who, you know, are like family. So like they keep me accountable to my goals. And I think it's just having this plan to refer back to. So as I was telling Cedric at the last workshop that we did, honestly, when we were doing this, we were not like, so 80, if you're achieving 80% of your goals or more, that's great. We were not doing that. We were at like 50 and 60% like every time, like every quarter, like every year. So that was not motivating at all. But when we looked up in 5 years and we look back at our vision, we was like, wow, a lot of the things that we said that we wanted to do actually came to fruition just because we did not give up on the plan. Just because we had a plan to continue to refer back to, and we just kept at it. We just kept, what do they call it? Like when you swinging an axe at a tree, trying to chop a tree down, you just hitting it in the same spot. It may not seem like you're making any progress, but we had faith in the plan. We had faith in what we were doing, and we just kept at it. And, you know, they say you shoot for the moon, you land amongst the stars. That's what it was. We had really audacious goals. So that was the reason why we weren't achieving them in the way that we thought. So just what helped us stay motivated was literally just being able to come back to this plan and working a plan.
Okay, appreciate
Right.
that. Thank you.
Khalia, I also have another question. Do you have a coaching program in place? And if so, how much does that run?
So I do not currently have a coaching program in place, but I will. I certainly will. So I do not have pricing or anything like that together yet. I apologize, but I will. I have so much on my plate right now that I'm trying to figure out how to even create space. This was a part of my vision, but it wasn't a part of my vision. It wasn't like my 3-year goals or my 1-year goals. So I don't have anything in place that was helping me like line up to get to this point. It was honestly the universe that just kind of pushed me here. And I kind of see that I have to now make way for it. So
Next month, everyone, you want to make sure that you're here. Our guest next month will be Mr. Corey DeHarsh. He is a retirement investing educator and certified IRA service specialist who will discuss how to use your retirement investments to invest in real estate. Have a wealth of experience to aid you in your real estate investing journey. So remember, you definitely want to be here next month.
Thank you very much, Cedric. Yes, as Cedric said, this next month is going to be jam-packed with valuable information, so you don't want to miss it. I want to applaud you for coming tonight because it shows that you understand that with the right building blocks, you can build the perfect foundation for your apartment investing career. Be safe and be awesome. That was great information on goal setting, and it's only the tip of the iceberg. For assistance with setting and achieving your goals, you can find Khalia's contact information in the details section of this video. If you would like to support this channel, one of the best ways to do that is to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things signal to YouTube that you see value in these videos. Make sure you click that alert bell when you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.